Ba-dum ba-da-dum boom ba ba boom ba-dum ba-da-dum boom ba ba. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a thing. It's a thing that we're doing. We're doing a thing here. I was doing a different thing earlier, but that thing failed. Anyways, this is a talk to transformer. So basically, what I can do is I can type in a text thing, and I can type in text, and it will give me a continued on like paragraph of it. So Ghost ran to the mountain top. Then there you go. Let's just put that. Ghost ran to the mountain top, and then it will take the time and generate. And sometimes it's pretty bad. Uh, Ghost ran to the mountaintop. To the mountaintop, he called back to his team. They did not hesitate. Jumped in, quickly flew over the mountain. Once again, he ran up to the mountaintop. He was not able to see the bottom of the cliff. Why did I run back up? But when he looked down at the bottom of the cliff, he saw a familiar sight. At the base of the mountain, a hole as wide as a human hand, a normal human hand, a hole as deep as the hole on the surface of the sun. What? The hole on the surface of the sun is like like an invisible hole. The the hole that was on the top of the mountain. The hole that was on the bottom of the mountain. They they were all 100 meters deep. The bottom of the mountain is on the surface of the moon. It had been there for over 1,000 years. It's a hole on the surface of and then it ended. Why is it on the moon? What happened? Okay, Johnny likes ice cream, and we're gonna run off that. Let's go. Let's see what Johnny likes ice cream. Okay. Johnny likes ice cream because that is one of my favorite foods, and I know I've probably eaten ice cream. I guess we're talking in third person. I've probably eaten ice cream from all over the world, but I was never able to place where I got it from. I've tried every brand and very small location grocery store chain to the huge national chains with names like Ben and Jerry's, 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 Ben and Jerry's. I tried everything. I tried the Ben and Jerry's vanilla and the Ben and Jerry's strawberry. Is he going insane? And I was really confused when I think ice cream. I don't think a frozen dessert. But after some research, I realized that the word ice cream is a brand name, not a food. The name ice cream is a brand name. And then after some research, I realized the word ice cream is a brand name. Oh my god. I was put in a room, a rubber room, a room filled with rats. Rats make me crazy. So I was put in a room. Let's see where it goes with this. Oh my god, okay. I was put in a rubber room filled with rats. Rats make me crazy. So I was put in a room. I can't remember anything after I got out of that room, but I have memories now. Memories from when I was in the room. From there on, it just kept happening. I remember being in a rubber room. I don't remember what happened there. What? In the rubber room, there were cages of rats. In the cages, the rats were forced to stand in a straight line. And in one of the cages, there were holes that allowed a rat to have his or her head and feet poke out of the cage. They were forced to eat the food. The food was not allowed to touch the floor. A rat in the rubber room was not allowed to get out. The only way a rat could escape the rubber room was if it was in the cage with the hole. What? Let's see. Um, I missed an E. Silly me. Boom. There we go. I want to dance with Gengar. Let's see what. Let's see what this. Oh my god, here it goes. Yeah, see, at least it knows Gengar is from Pokemon, right? I want to dance with Gengar. That's what I want to dance with. Gengar is the most important Pokemon in my opinion. It's the greatest Pokemon of all time. Even, even if I'm not the best trainer, I believe in my Pokemon Gengar. Even if I'm not a great trainer, I know I will always have Gengar. It'll save me a lot of time. I hope Gengar will also save you. Is this like a PSA? Is the greatest Pokemon in the world. It's not a rumor. It's not a mistake. Gengar has been my favorite since I have been a trainer. Even if Gengar will not become a legendary Pokemon, it will still always be my favorite. I think the world needs a Gengar more than... I think the world needs a Gengar more than ever. It will give people hope. I don't really understand why there is so much prejudice towards Gengar. It's very hard to be a Pokemon trainer. You will always have to. I don't... I don't understand why there's so much prejudice against Gengar, even though he's like one of the most popular Pokemon. Oh my lord. Oh, I'm crying. Why am I crying? Let's see what this says. Okay. Why am I crying? I was about to ask. I'm crying because I missed the last 10 days of school. I'm sorry for worrying you. I looked at my sister. I know. But that's why you're crying, silly. She looked back down at the ground. I missed everything, rubbed my eyes. And I know you know, and I want you to be there. You're my sister, so that's what I expect. And I hope you can come, but I know it's been hard. What? She looked up at me. I was worried you wouldn't be able to come. I shook my head. I'm fine. She frowned, but she didn't say anything else. I tried to stay hopeful, but I was beginning to believe. Hey, are you sure you're going to be okay? I turned away from... What? 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 What is this story? How many how man bears? How many bears how many bears can bears if they bears? See if it's confused yet. How many bears can bears if they bears? A bear can be. Is it possible that one can find out how many bears that a person can see? If the person can see? Is it possible to find out how many people can see if a person can see? What? How many times does a person can go in a circle in a given period of time? How many times a person can go in a circle in a given period of time? How many times does it take to go in a circle in a given period of time? How many times does it take to go in a circle in a given period of time? How many times does it take to go in a circle in a given period of time? Oh my god. How many times does it take to go in a circle in a given period of time? How many times does it take to go in a circle in a given period of time? Whew. Oh, and how many times does? Let's just write that. How many times does? What if it just kept saying it over and over and over and over? Okay. Okay. How many times happen on a daily basis before we hear from someone who is trying to take our own life? One of the most famous case reports of suicide is Sarah Peter. What the fuck? What is this? What is this? What? Sarah was a high school student. She had started taking antidepressant medications, but in summer 2009, she was having psychiatric depression. She was getting depressed and felt she would never be happy again. The following week, she went to the hospital and reported to the emergency room that she was contemplating suicide. The person who arrived at the emergency room said, What the fuck was that? I'm going to type that in now. I'm just I'm flustered, man. I don't know what that was about. The person who arrived at the emergency. Oops. Oh. Oh. Oh, I can't spell. I'm sorry. Oh, I got chest pains. Okay. Let's go. The person who arrived at the emergency room, Tia, was not a normal person. And in the middle of it all, her mother, who had been living alone for the past 10 years, died in the middle of work at her shop while she was at home. After that, Tia was left at the shelter where she lived with a man named Jai. J? G? G? I'm going to say G. There, that man, who was also the head of the family of a local firm, started a conversation with her. Well, I would hope so if she lived with him. I mean, I don't know. As he said, the family that lived on the outskirts of the village were poor farmers. As a result, when they went to sell some of their produce to other merchants, they were constantly harassed by the neighboring families. That's why they were often left with no other choice but to rely on the village's only inn, which was located right in the center of the village, to make their living. The inn's owner was kind. We're just going to keep going. The inn's owner was kind. Boom. Keep going. The inn's owner was kind enough to allow us to stay and take the tour. We spent over an hour inside talking about his place, his background, and his life, his family, and his past. He told us his stories about his adventures in the military and his trips to the moon as a youth. Goddamn, all right. When he was growing up, it was hard to find work, and he used to steal bread to put his brothers through college. What? we got to hear about his adventures in the military too, and his time spent on a fishing trip on Lake Minnetonka. After we finished our tour, we ate dinner at the bar with his mother, who was also an avid golfer. When we were finished with our dinner, we walked over to the local restaurant and had a delicious meal. Why did you go to a restaurant after eating dinner? What the fuck? Afterwards, we decided to head back to the hotel and get ready for our hotel check-in. As we were walking out, a woman walked up to us and asked if we wanted a tour. A woman walked up and asked if we wanted a tour. What the hell is happening here, man? A woman walked up and asked if we wanted a tour of the shop. As I walked towards the doorway, she pulled out her phone and called the shop's owner. I didn't know him, but the owner had been in a similar position before. I was told that the police and the fire department had been called to the scene. What? The woman said she knew who had done this to the shop and he'd been arrested. I told her that she needed to let me know if that's true. Well, she just said that. Anyways, I waited for about 5 minutes and she came back and told me that the guy was in the back of the store and he was just talking to her. I asked her if she knew him. She said that he'd been in there for several weeks since the shop's owner hadn't been able to do anything. The woman said that he'd been very nice to her and she had brought him some of her work and had asked her to try her hand. What? Is that like throwing hands or is that like asking her in marriage? I don't know. The woman asked me how I'd like. This shit's fucking weird, man. The woman asked me how I'd like to be treated. I was very flattered, but it wasn't something I could really decide, he says. I was still really shy, so I told the guys that I didn't want anything from the beginning. If I wasn't happy, I didn't want anything. But as I was going along, I saw that everyone was very friendly. I had very little interest in anything, but the guys did give me money for rent, and I was pretty lucky. It was a lot of money, so it wasn't a problem. I had no trouble getting the money, obviously. The second time, I was told I could go to the club was on the weekend of the New Year and the first week of January. It was a very late night. I couldn't sleep. I was so tired I couldn't sleep and I couldn't eat. I remember feeling sick. I wasn't sleeping well that night. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. Oops, I missed it. Let's see where it goes. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. It wasn't until later that evening, when we were in bed, that I started to wonder what was wrong with me. It was then I realized that I had been having severe headaches and my body was starting to shake. The night before, I had been talking to myself for almost a half hour, but I didn't notice at first. That night, I was unable to get to sleep. Yeah, you just said. The next day, I went to see a doctor. They sent me to the emergency room where they gave me a bunch of different tests to find out what the problem was. What they found out was that I was allergic to the medication. After a series of tests to try to figure out what was causing my headaches, they were able to find the connection between my headaches and medication. My doctor prescribed. Why do we get to doctors? Why are we here? Why are we here? Okay. This one, and then I'm going to do one more, I think. My doctor prescribed me antibiotics, but I just kept on vomiting. Damn, that sucks. I was throwing up every day. My stomach and my brain were on fire. I never have experienced my brain being on fire. Yeah. That sounds not fun. The doctors put me in an induced coma. Great, cool, okay. The doctors told me that it was all caused by the toxins. I don't understand. I didn't do anything. I was just a regular kid. I just wanted to be normal. That's when he learned about the chemical sodium bicarbonate. It had been used by doctors to cure patients of many ailments, including asthma. Hey, that's me. Epilepsy and ulcers. The chemical was a compound ingredient in baking soda. But it was a poison, so I had to figure out what to do. A lot of kids try to find something they can take to prevent their illness. Oh, yeah? I mean, yeah, I guess a lot of kids are sick. Somebody came over and said, if you eat more spinach, you'll stop having these problems. And I said, that's all I do. That's all I do. All I do is eat spinach. It's not true. It's not true at all. Let's go to a happier tone. We were talking about suicide and sickness. I don't really... Let's go happy. I was happy to see the two parties agree to a joint investigation into the matter. However, after the investigation is complete, the FBI will review the results to determine whether any further investigation is warranted. Comey's letter concluded. What the fuck? The joint investigation will be led by agents, and both agencies being conducted in coordination by the Justice Department. The FBI declined to provide any details on what the probe will look for or may be involved in it. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer said Monday that the decision not to charge Clinton over her email use came after a thorough review by the Justice Department lawyers. What the fuck, man? This is a decision that was made by the department's own discretion based on all the information, the department's long-standing policies and procedures, Spicer said, speaking at his daily briefing. The decision to bring the investigation into Clinton's emails came the same day, and the House Oversight Committee was expected to vote to hold former Clinton aide Cheryl Mills accountable for. Was that just like a legit article that I just read? I don't understand what I just read. But yeah, I think I'm going to call that an episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I tried to end it on a good note. It did not end on a good note. I went to the Clinton email scandal, which what the fuck, man? Anyways, I will see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.